bed, and the wood under my bare feet is so cold it feels wet. Outside, a horse shifts in the barn. I can hear its hoof scrape the dirt. My dress is folded on the chair the way my mother folded hers, and her mother before her. And somewhere down the hall, a clock I have never heard before is counting seconds I did not know I had. He comes in quietly. He does not look at me. He looks at the floor like a boy who has lost something in the grain of the wood. His hands are shaking. Mine are colder. Neither of us speaks because neither of us has been given the words. I am wearing the nightgown my aunt pressed into my arms this morning without meeting my eyes. The cotton smells like cedar and lye. Something in my chest is telling me to run, and something deeper is telling me good wives do not run, and the two things are tearing a seam inside me I did not know I had. He says my name once, just once, soft, like an apology he doesn't understand he's making. I was 19 years old. Quick pause. My name is Sarah, and you're listening to Plain Voices, where women like me tell the stories we were never allowed to say out loud. If these stories matter to you, subscribing is free and it keeps them coming. And tell me in the comments, what's one thing about your own body nobody ever explained to you? Where I grew up, a woman's body was not hers. It belonged first to God and then to her father, and then, on one cold morning in front of a plain wooden bench, to her husband. Nobody ever said that out loud. Nobody had to. You learned it the way you learned to knead bread, by watching hands that had learned it from other hands, all the way back to a country none of us had ever seen. The rule was simple and it was everywhere. A good wife does not ask. A good wife does not refuse. A good wife does not complain. I did not know until I was 24 years old that the word for what a body can feel during intimacy was a word I had never once heard spoken in my entire childhood. Not from my mother, not from my sister, not from the hymn book or the Bible or the long whispering afternoons at the quilting frame. His name was Samuel. He was 22, gentle, good with horses, and the bishop's second cousin. We had been permitted to sit together on the porch 4 times before the wedding, always with someone in the kitchen window. My sister Rebecca pulled me aside 3 weeks before the ceremony. She was already married, already had 2 babies, already had the tired eyes. She said 13 words to me. 13. It will hurt the first time. After that, you just hold still. Then she squeezed my wrist and went back to peeling apples. That was my preparation. That was every woman's preparation. And Samuel had been told even less, because the men were told nothing at all, as if not knowing was the same as being holy. The bedroom in our new little house smelled like fresh pine and kerosene. There was a braided rug his mother had made us, and a quilt with a double wedding ring pattern stitched by hands I would never meet. The lamp on the dresser threw a circle of yellow light that did not quite reach the corners. I remember the sound of wind moving through the eaves. I remember the way Samuel sat on the far edge of the mattress with his back to me, pulling off his boots one at a time, setting them down so carefully it was almost a prayer. He looked like a lost boy in a man's shirt. He looked the way I felt. He turned. His hand moved. I stopped breathing. "Is this?" he started, and then he did not finish, because he did not have the rest of the sentence. Neither did I. My jaw locked so tight I tasted iron. My shoulders went up to my ears. Something in my body went very quiet and very far away, the way a rabbit goes still in the grass. It hurt. It hurt in a way I had no name for. A sharp, ringing kind of hurt that made my eyes water without crying. I did not move. Rebecca had said, "Hold still." I held still. He whispered, I'm sorry," 3 times into the dark, and I did not know what he was apologizing for, and I do not think he knew either. When it was over, he turned to the wall, and I turned to the wall, and between our two backs there was a distance the whole Atlantic Ocean could have fit inside. Neither of us understood that a woman's body is not supposed to be a door you push through. Neither of us had ever heard the word arousal. Neither of us knew that what was missing was not willingness. I was willing. I had said yes in front of God and 300 people. What was missing was everything that was supposed to come before the willingness mattered. The community taught us that the act itself was the whole sentence. They did not teach us it was one word in the middle of a much longer one. And so for years, every time it happened, it was the same cold room, the same held breath, the same ringing hurt, and I thought, because nobody had ever told me otherwise, that this was simply what being a wife meant, that the ache was the price, that the price was holy. I learned to leave my body before he came into the room. I would stand at the sink washing the last cup from supper, and I would feel my mind lift up out of my hands and go sit on the rafter above the stove. And by the time I climbed the stairs, there was almost nothing of me left inside my skin. I would count the knots in the ceiling boards, 47 on my side, 51 on his. I never knew, not once in 6 years, that a woman could feel anything during intimacy other than patience. I thought the word pleasure belonged to men the way the barn belonged to men, a place I was not meant to enter. It was at a washing day, elbows in soapy water, that I first understood I was not alone. My cousin Miriam was wringing out a sheet next to me, and another woman, older, softer around the eyes, said something under her breath about her husband that I could not quite catch. Miriam laughed, but it was not a laugh. "Mine says his first wife never complained," she said. 7 words. The older woman nodded slowly and did not look up from the basin. I felt the ground tilt. I almost told them. I almost said, "Mine hurts too. Mine has always hurt. Is yours supposed to hurt?" But my tongue would not move. We went back to wringing sheets. By our 4th year of marriage, I had stopped hoping it would change. I was 24 when a woman at a library 2 towns over, a woman in jeans who did not know me, slid a small paper diagram across a table and named, with one quiet finger, a part of my own body I had lived inside for 24 years and never been told existed. I read the word underneath it. I read it again. My hands started shaking in a way they had not shaken since my wedding night. I was not angry. That came later. In that moment, I was just sad. A deep, drowning, bone-tired sad. For the girl who had counted knots in the ceiling. For the girl who had thought holding still was the same as being good. And yes, for Samuel too. For the lost boy on the edge of the bed who had also been handed a locked door and told it was a wedding gift. We had both been robbed. The silence had robbed us both. There are things that place gave me that I will carry until I die. The sound of horses at dawn, soft and breathing, the whole barn warm with them. The smell of bread pulled out of a wood-fired oven by my grandmother's hands. The way 200 voices sing a hymn with no instruments at all, just breath and belief, and the old pine walls of the meeting house holding it up. Those were real. Those were mine. And also, and this is the sentence I had to learn to say without flinching, what happened to me was silence dressed up as holiness. Both things are true. Beauty and harm can live in the same house, and sometimes they share the same bed. And sometimes you do not get to throw one out without losing the other, and you have to learn to hold them both with open hands. If you grew up somewhere your own body was treated like a locked room somebody else had the key to, if nobody ever said the words out loud, if the silence was so thick you thought it was the air, I see you. You are not broken. You were never broken. You were a child in a world that handed you a map with half the country missing, and then called you sinful when you got lost. You survived something most people will never have to name, and surviving is enough. It is enough. You do not owe anyone the rest of the journey on a schedule. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you felt listening to this. The one sentence that made you stop and breathe. Tell me the moment you recognized yourself, if you did. There is so much more I have not said yet, so much I am only just beginning to find the words for, and I am just getting started. Stay with me here at Plain Voices. This is where we say the things we were told to swallow. You were never the silence. You were the voice underneath it.